this will be a much more high frequency data that the street would eye out for. Let's welcome in our morning guest. Sajeev Dhawan is now joining us. Shrikant Shetty is here with me in our India Bull studio. Shrikant Chauhan also joins us from our India Bull studio, and Amar Singh, Head Advisory at Angel Broking, is with us. Good morning, gentlemen. Sajeev, let me come to you first. Any calls for the day?
Well, we'll be looking at housing finance companies that bounce back from the lows. So Dhawan Housing has been quite badly hit after the demonetization. So that stock's on our buy list for investors and traders. Cement, the sector also has been quite badly bruised over the last couple of weeks. So ACC and Grasim look like good stocks, especially if you're an investor. These stocks are still quite a bit way off their recent highs. So we're looking to accumulate and buy into these stocks at the current levels also.
Right, Shrikant, your calls. You also like Diwan. You also used to like Diwan Housing. It may not be a top pick today, but it's one of your picks, right?
It is one of the picks. In fact, the entire housing finance used to be a sector which we used to like a lot. Though there is some uncertainty over the LAP portfolio currently, and that's where I think we've seen some correction. But overall, we still remain pretty positive in the housing finance, especially the lower end housing finance segment. So we think that will continue to be a thing. But in the current scenario, we have preference for sectors which are slightly different, which will not get affected by demonetization. Maybe the technology, in the technology space, we like Tech Mahindra. I think valuations are comfortable there. Things starting to look better in terms of growth relative to peers, both in terms of revenues as well as in terms of potential improvement in margins. Valuation also comfortable there. So we like Tech Mahindra in that space.
Right, Shrikant Chauhan. So we have two Shrikant today. We just heard the picks of Shrikant Shetty, and the other picks can be totally different because one is a fundamental analyst and one is a technical analyst. So Shrikant Chauhan this time. 3 buy calls. Do you think the momentum has gone up, Shrikant?
Pankaj, good morning. It looks like that the way the market recovered yesterday and the way there is a monthly close on all indices, 3 things to watch out today is that whether the bank nifty is performing or not. How IT stocks going to perform in today's date, because they have given a very sharp.
It means that the trend would continue.
Yeah, from here we are expecting at least 100, 120 points, 50 points on Nifty, because the next resistance level to watch out for is between 83.20, 83.50, which is 40% retracement of the entire fall. And in case if today the market reaches to those levels or in next few days of time, then one thing is very clear that 7900 is going to act as a very good support for the market, or maybe higher bottom for the market as compared to 6800, because when the market was at 6800, that time also it was 50% retracement of the entire from 4500 to almost 9100. So this time also when the market corrected to the major levels like 7900, which was coincidentally the lowest level of Brexit days event. So net this particular level, I'm into 7900, is definitely going to act as a very good support, and the confirmation will come in case if the market reaches to the levels of 83, 83.20. So for that, from here, what we need is that we need participation from either IT stocks heavily or from bank stocks, and Bank Nifty has given yesterday a bullish close on daily basis. So it's a pullback I'm to say the pullback rally which is going to come in next few days of time, and in that Bank Nifty may even go up to 19,000 levels. So that will certainly lift Nifty to the levels of 8300, or otherwise the way monthly close there on CNX IT. I think if IT stock starts performing, then that can also help Nifty to recover back to the levels of 8300. So net this particular level 8300 is going to act as a very important level for the market, and for that we need to reach to those levels. So that is why I'm of the view that today we have to see that how the Bank Nifty perform, and accordingly we have designed our trading calls. We have a buy call on Axis Bank which is currently at 470 levels. There we have view that it is heading for 495 or 500 kind of levels. It has formed multi supports around this 455, 460 levels, and yesterday's recovery is quite encouraging. So with a stop loss at 460, we can take long call on Axis Bank with a target of 500. The other stock on which we are bullish is Infosys. Currently it is at 975, 970 levels, but with a stop loss at 960 or 950, certainly we can take long call with a price target of 1020, 1050 on the high side. And finally, from the media space, where there is a lot of activity in Sun TV, Z as well as Dish TV. So Dish TV is the stock to look for, because this particular stock is finding a lot of buying pressure around 85, 86 levels. Even though there was selling in almost all media stocks, it was quite strong or sustained like around this 85 levels. So from here we are expecting Dish TV to move to the levels of 100 in next few days of time, but at least 94 is the level which looks achievable in next few days of time. So with a stop loss at 89, we can take long positions on Dish TV.
All right, pre-open markets have already moved pretty high. The Nifty has got gains about 0.25%. Amar, what are your top picks?
Yeah, very good morning. The first topic is Tata Powers. Tata Power, we've seen a significant up move, so it can be bought around the 73.50 levels with a stop loss of 70.80 and a target of 78.50. So that's the first on the buy. The second is ONGC. As we see, it's already close to the target, so it's not advisable to buy around 295 levels. Any correction towards 284, 86 levels could be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss of 279. And the third is TVS Motors. We've seen a pullback in TVS Motors as well, because basically what we've seen is that technically the markets have taken major support, be it Nifty around 7900 levels. But overall it does appear to be a trading market, so profits have to be booked, because Nifty on the upside doesn't look to sustain above 8350, 8370 levels. So the third call is on TVS Motors. It's a buy in the range of 372 to 374 with a stop loss of 367 and a target of 386.
All right, gentlemen, stay with us. We'll quickly go over a few stocks we'll be watching out for. On earnings, Balkrishna Industries came out with the second quarter earnings. Profits were up 128% at 243 crore rupees. Total income moved higher by 15.19% at 946 crore rupees. EBITDA was higher at 307.5 crore rupees. EBITDA margins also expanded to 32.5%. The other income was also higher at 44.8 crore rupees. Then we have Ratnamani Metals. They came out with the second quarter earnings. Profits are down 14%. Top line also de-grew about 24%. EBITDA margins though expanded to about 15.4%. Then you've got Punj Lloyd, no improvement there. The loss of 225, it's comparable to what they did a year ago, so we haven't really seen an improvement coming in Punj Lloyd. Their total income was also lower at 995 crore rupees, and the EBITDA loss was 3.1 crore rupees versus 17.8 crore rupee loss in the same period a year ago. So on EBITDA level, a little improvement was seen. Manufra came out with the second quarter earnings. Profits were up 72% at 16 crore rupees. Total income was down 54% at 27 crore rupees. EBITDA margin came in at 7.7%, and they had a large other income of 24 crore rupees. So these are some of the stocks we'll be watching for reactions on earnings.
Right, one name that will be in focus throughout the day will be Reliance Industries. So yesterday post market hours there is a press conference announcement where Mr. Mukesh Ambani will be talking at 1:30 p.m. today. We'll cut across live to it, so that will be in focus. Now all sorts of speculation have started that what is the announcement, but what we can pick up is that there will be an announcement regarding the achievements of Reliance Jio so far. It's about 83 days that they have announced the entire move. So what is the sort of achievement that they have done? And a significant announcement regarding Reliance Jio. It can be regarding extending the welcoming auction. It can be regarding changing the welcoming offer that they had given. So definitely this will be a stock in focus. And based on what the announcement comes, Bharti, Idea and Arcom, all the three names would be in focus. Definitely one of the most important events to watch out for. It may not have a very big market impact, but definitely as a sector, telecom will be in focus.
All right, let's take a look at a few other stocks that we'll be watching out for. In earnings that are expected today, Dilip Buildcon, Gillette India, Graphite India, Valestra Engineering and Clarent Chemicals are the ones that will declare numbers today. Then Moody's has downgraded Reliance Communications, so that will be a stock to watch out for. Their debt has been downgraded to B1 from Ba3, and then there is the fuel price revision that was announced. So oil marketing companies will be in focus. Petrol prices have been hiked by 13 paisa a litre, and diesel prices have been cut by 12 paisa a litre. And then there's HCC Construction Company. It's got arbitral award of 2,000 crore rupees from NHPC and NHAI.
Right. Sajeev, what do you make of the GDP data, or do you think it's irrelevant because after that we've seen a big change of demonetization?
Well, I don't think the market will react to it too much because, as you just said, the demonetization negative impact will be felt over the next couple of quarters. So on its own, it is slightly lower than estimates, but not too disappointing. It would have fueled hopes for a further rate cut next week. If that happens, that will to some extent offset the demonetization, but I think that's the real key now. Does it knock off 0.5%, 1%, or significantly more? So yesterday's figures, as you've seen by what this looks like, the market's not really reacting to. It's the positive outlook or the negative outlook which individuals and FIs would have, which will be more important right now.
Right. Shrikant, we would also be looking at what's happening with the GDP, what probably RBI would expect. It will be important for markets. Do you think if the rate cut is not particularly that big, which the street or bond markets are expecting, it can lead to a sell-off?
Well, there could be a marginal sell-off on account of that, but I think the broad expectation remains over 25 bips, though there could be higher expectation, but I think the broad expectation still remains over 25 bips from what we understand about, though the bond market may be expecting slightly more. But I think, people would want to understand what the implications of demonetization is rather than see what RBI can realistically do, because clearly GDP is bound to get impacted in the short run. There is no denying that, and I think the markets have adjusted to that. Now the question is how quickly some of these sectors can really come back, how the businesses can return to normalcy, and that's what is relevant. That's the reason why the commentary from probably auto companies, cement companies, consumer companies will be key over the next few days.
Right. Shrikant Chauhan, just a word on dollar rupee. Do you think it's headed on the higher side?
Certainly it looks like that it is heading higher because the way the dollar rupee has spent time around 66.5, and after that it reversed, and in a very shorter span of time it has broken the level of 69. So one thing is very clear that finally it is heading for 70 plus in next maybe a couple of weeks, because it's it's not stock or indices, it is something which is like closely related with the lot of decisions as well as news flow. So based on that, technically certainly we are of the view that the way the formation is there, it has to move to the levels of 70 half,
right,
but it will take time.
Right, just about 7 points higher for the Nifty, exactly in line with what SGX was indicating, and 45 points higher for the Sensex. Ambuja Cement 0.3% higher, BHEL up 3.3%, M&M is up about 0.3%, and Aurobindo Pharma at 743. Infosys 1 rupee decline, HDFC Bank about 2 rupees decline, Cipla is up about a rupee or so, and HUL is down about 2 rupees. Kotak Mahindra Bank 1 to 2 rupees decline, HDFC Limited down about a rupee. ACC is up 10 rupees, so 1,352. Hero MotoCorp 6 rupees decline, Bosch about 71 rupees decline, and ONGC is up 2.5. ONGC will be up because of crude oil prices going up. In Tata, for Tata Motors, JLR China has seen an imposition of a luxury tax on cars, where certain cars of Tata Motors would be applicable. That's down by about 1.3%. Axis Bank down about 0.1. Tata Steel is up about 0.25%. Bank of Baroda is absolutely flat, and GAIL is up about 2%. Balakrishna Industry, of course, this is a results impact that we are seeing, about 10% higher right now, or right from the first go. 12 p.m. is when they have their con call. So I think after that you will probably see the next move, but it was up 8% yesterday as well. Punj Lloyd up close to about down close to about 3.5%. So that's a name which is down based on results. Let's look at Man Infra as well, 2% higher, but volumes, one would say, yet to pick up. So we'll just wait for the volume number for Man Infra to pick up as well. Some of the other crude related stocks, let's look at airline stocks, what's happening. Reliance, of course, is in focus. It's also a crude related stock, so that's up about 1% as well. GAIL is up 4% right now. Reliance is up, so it's the oil pack which is taking the markets higher. Let's look at the aviation pack as well. Let's pull up what's happening with Jet Airways. So Jet is at about a 2% decline, rather 2.5% decline. So that's on the lower side. Let's look at Interglobe Aviation as well, what's happening over there. So Jet is at about 378. Interglobe is largely flat. There's not much of interest over there. And also among the aviation pack, if people are bullish on, they're bullish on Interglobe Aviation. Lupin is up 0.6. Remember, it was one of the top gainers, or rather at least on the opening. It was one of the gainers yesterday as well. From the CNX top 200 names, what's happening and what is opening up. So GAIL is up 3% right now. Petronet LNG is up about 2%, 396 for Petronet LNG. ONGC is up 3%. All of these are oil and oil related impact. IDFC is up about 1.5%. Jubilant Life continues the move up. It's up around 1% or so. Motherson Sumi, LIC Housing, all of these are names which are buzzing this morning. What's going down is Jet Airways. It's down 2%. HPCL is down about 2% odd. Tata Motors is down about 1% or so. Anisha, any volume names that you can pick up?
Well, amongst the stocks that are moving up on volumes, we've got Hindustan Constructions, which is up 15%. We did have the news about it getting some arbitration award from NHA and NHPC. So that one's up 13% now. Patel Engineering is up 11%. We've got number of the exploration names are buzzing today. Maybe, you know, there is expectation that those who supply to explorers will also benefit if crude stabilizes. So we have Avan Offshore up 7%. We have Hindustan Oil Exploration that is up 4%. Copran is up 4%. Of course, ONGC and GAIL are seeing good traction. Uritech is up 2%. KN India is up 1.5%, and Manappuram Finance also continues to rally today. On the losing end, Punchloy is down 2.5%. Amtech Auto is down 2.5%. Amtech Auto came out with an announcement that they're looking at fund infusion and restructuring their debt. That stock is down now 1.5%. We've got Jet Airways down in the red. Hindustan Petroleum, HPCL is also down in the red. We have heard about the price changes, but you know, for oil marketing companies, if crude oil is going to head higher, that's not very good news. That it's down about 2.5% or so. Amar, I wanted to come to you. You have been bullish on ONGC, and ONGC has played its part post the OPEC announcement. Do you have a view on the oil marketing companies? You know, these the space has done very well over the last 18 months or so. Now they have come in for profit taking. Do you think there's any investment case or even a trading pick here?
Yeah, basically looking at the oil space in particular, we've seen them buck the trend, and the fall that we witnessed post 8th November, that is on 9th. After that, they have been on an up move. And talking in particular about ONGC, it's trading close to 298-300 levels. So what it effectively means is that levels are to be looked at booking profits. Yes, the underlying current is definitely strong. If I'm talking about technically from the trend perspective, the short term, medium term and long term trends are up. But at the same time, they are all in overbought territory, clearly meaning that the upside here could be limited. So, and one should look at booking profits in the oil space.
Okay, some profit taking can be seen in the oil space. Sajeev, do you have a view on some of the telecom stocks like Bharti Airtel and Idea Cellular? These stocks have rallied a fair bit over the last 5 days or so, and there is this a press conference coming up. We expect something about Reliance Jio to be said today. Is there smoke without any fire? Is something happening? Sajeev, my question is to you. Do you have a view on Idea Cellular and Bharti Airtel? These stocks have been rallying up. Do you think something's brewing?
It's not really a sector that we like too much at the moment. There's too much news flow, and it's mainly on the negative side. Competition is clearly fierce. The demonetization has obviously affected the recharging of the prepaid sales in the sector. So even if you want to be a contrarian, you'll have to be very, very patient. It's not one of those sectors which has cycles like pharma or where you can be contrarian, or even metals or infrastructural stocks where you think there will be some turnaround. There's too much news flow. Reliance, yes, it may announce something. Whatever it says, I don't see how it's going to be good for the competitors, Bharti or Idea. So if anything, it'll give a slight boost to the Reliance stock, but it's certainly not a sector that we're looking at now, whether it's from a trading perspective or even from a longer term investment perspective at the moment.
All right, so telecom is not something that Sajeev likes. Shrikant, have you had a look at the charts of HCC? In the most recent rally, some of these stocks have done well. Shrikant Chauhan, can you have a look at the charts and tell us what's in store for HCC?
So like all these infra companies, especially mid-sized infra companies, have shown a good amount of activity in last 3 months of time. And when there was like a correction in the market, we saw correction in all these stocks, but they have like corrected to their minimum level. So net I'm of the view that all these mid-sized infra companies are definitely going to do well, and we have a specifically bullish calls on NCC, HCC as well as IRB infra. HCC today opened up with a gap of whatever like 10-15%, but the overall the way the formation is there and the way the news flow is there, I'm very much clear in my view is that they are going to give a very decent returns on our investments. Currently it is at 38 kind of levels, but from here we are expecting stock to move to the levels of 55, 56 in next couple of weeks. So even at current levels and more on dips, we should look for adding these stocks, as well as we like NCC, which is around 80 levels. There also we have a target of 100 plus. So these two stocks are definitely a very strong bets to buy at current levels with a positional point of view.
Right, Sajeev, just one on the metals pack, if probably 10 months down the line, if anybody would have asked you which is one sector you did not want to own, you would probably say metals has uncertainty. But names like Moil, names like Hindustan Zinc, names like Vedanta, maybe even Tata Steel have done particularly well. Would you still say that there is some upside left in the metals pack?
Well, that really now depends on what happens in the global economy. If the commodity prices firm up, if the demand, whether from US or China, continues to remain strong, it'll support the prices. As you said, yes, a year ago it was a contrarian buy. And like I said, these sort of stocks and sectors are cyclical. They have their downturn for a few months or maybe over a year, and then they bounce back quite sharply. The current price of maybe 400 to 450 Tata Steel doesn't look so cheap anymore, for example. So we'd look for some correction before we entered that. But certainly it's not a bad stock for investors who've invested earlier to hold on. There can be some upside, but will they give you the 30-40% sort of outperformance and move up that sort of pace of the next 6 months to 1 year is probably pretty unlikely at the moment. I think if you want that sort of return, you have to look at stocks and sectors which have been battered and beaten down over the last few weeks and few months, and maybe look around there. The IT sector has been battered. There are some people who are looking at that, but fundamentally that's still going to go through a tough period over the next few months. Metals is okay, but not likely to be a major outperformer in the short term at least.
Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. Just before we go, Sajeev, let's start with you. Any disclosures?
Personally, no, but clients certainly would have recommended the stocks I've discussed.
Shrikant, any disclosures for you?
Yeah, we would have recommended the stocks to our clients, and they may have positions in the same. No personal positions.
Shrikant Chauhan, disclosures for you?
Pankaj, I do not have any personal positions, but yes, we have recommended these stocks to our clients.
Right. And finally, Amar, what are your disclosures?
Yeah, I don't hold any personal positions in these recommendations. Our clients could be holding some of the positions.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning.
We'll slip into a break at this point in time. When we come back, we will speak with Tushar Bansal.